Hey and welcome back to another video. I'm Acrimonious and we're back with Pokehaan. I have to apologize because I'm having to record this after because I realized my microphone wasn't recording during the whole gameplay that I did. So I'll just walk you over what happened and yeah, let's go do this. Okay, so we joined into the game and I'm just explaining that I did a lot offline work. And I'm just going to show you what we ended up getting into because it was quite a bit, but pretty easy to explain. Okay, so yeah, I did a lot with EMC and a garden to start the apricorn so we could get Pokeballs. In this, you can see I made bread, and to do that, I just had to craft down the wheat into wheat flour, and then just use the furnace to smelt it, which was easy enough. And then I could just EMC the bread and use that. Next, I have a lot of these hatched eggs that I got offline when I was doing my farming. And I just ended up opening up at the end of the video. And I was going to chuck them on the PC, only use them if they were very, very good. Okay, next I showed that resonator. I used it with the solar panels I hear. Like, these are solar, those are lunar panels. And I was charging that chunk loader. So my apricorns would load when I was offline. Though I didn't end up using it much. That's the crafting recipe for it. One thing I did have a problem with was after I crafted the singular lasso, a golden lasso, I wasn't able to get a second one. So I'm gonna have to figure out a second thing. That's how I got ender pearls, by using the philosopher's stone with the iron. Yeah, that's just the recipe for the solar and lunar panels. I used the resonator upstairs to create the lapis into the lunar lapis that was needed. This is me just figuring out what the thing was called. But no, yeah. Lunar radioactive dust. Pretty easy to make. And I put enough to charge around the whole area. Yeah, next thing I was just explaining how I used to have a massive garden, but I had to shorten it down after I discovered, after I started working with EMC. I was trying to find a way to get my garden to grow faster. And I found this half-disc goddess band. So I was trying to make it, but first I made the basic bonsai flower pot. That, you use it and it creates EMC. I'm just showing the recipe here of how to make it, though if you've seen people use Project E before, it's used quite often, it's pretty easy. It's the same repetitive stuff. You go from Philosopher's Stone with coal, Philosopher's Stone with what that makes, keep going up until you get dark matter. And yeah, it's all very simple once you start looking into it. I'm just showing how to make these different types of dust, which is also surprisingly really easy. And yeah, that's just got a diamond block with alternus fuel around it to make dark matter. So yeah, I show in the corner that it can add directly to my EMC count. And yeah, just a lot of eggs. It was around this time that I was deciding to chuck all the eggs in the thing. Next thing I made was a dark matter pedestal, which was a simple recipe. With a watch flowing time, because a watch flowing time increases the tick speed of things around you. So I was hoping that could grow my farm faster, but it also has a side effect of when charged. It just took me a second to go through my controls to try and find what button it was to charge the Project E items. But once charged, you can place it down and it will increase the tick speed of your bonsai plant. You see, when I actually activate it, I get 1,000 in the corner instead of 20, so it's pretty overpowered. It also does, though, increase the speed of furnaces and that, which is used more often for, which is pretty good. Yes, next I made the harvest band because it was the only harvesting item I could find. It was pretty easy to make, just some saplings and lava buckets surrounded by iron and poppies. And I found out that if I held it in my offhand, or just held it in my hand, I could infinitely just collect the apricorns and they'd instantly replace. Though, as I'm about to show, on it, it says that if it's placed on a pedestal, it will harvest and grow crops faster. But the problem I found with that was it deleted all the apricorn trees instead of harvesting the apricorns. So I just didn't use that anymore. Is was the reasons why there's only 3 instead of the giant mount I made. Next I made some storage. Apricots can't go in there, but no, I was adding some more storage for the apricots. Those are all my berries I'd gotten from the Pokestops. Oh yeah, and offline when I was doing all that, I was collecting from the Pokestops, and that's how we got so many eggs. They're actually honestly a bit too OP, that's why I was limiting the amount I use for them. Okay, yeah, next was my plan to make a PC. I forgot that the aluminum plates needed to be made, and for that you just make a simple Pokemon anvil. I also was planning to make the mechanical because that just does it for you. So you don't have to spend hours hammering away at the pieces. Now for this, I just simply made that. Luckily enough, that just has an EMC rating. Yeah, now I just make a hammer and show you how they turn into plates. It's a pretty interesting concept, honestly. You get those, I just use my offhand because it's quicker. You can place it down and hammer it. And after being hammered for a while, it turns into an aluminum plate, but the aluminum plate doesn't have an EMC value because it's used by smashing it against a Pokemon anvil. Next, I made the mechanical anvil so I could hopefully make all the plates without spending hours trying to get all of them I needed. So that was a simple recipe: iron bars, sticky piston, I was just lucky I had slime, and a furnace, which was also easy. So I just made the piston. I didn't actually know that the covalence dust could be made by putting the items in different positions. So here's my sticky piston. I add that to the MC table. And then I make a mechanical anvil. Then I can also MC that, which was lucky. I grabbed out just a bunch of them with some coal. And I placed down 4. Whoop. One thing I did learn though, after grabbing some more aluminum, is that I couldn't place it in there. And I found out the reason for that was it was only for Pokeball lids, so I just did that off camera. Now, it took a while, but yeah, there are all the plates at the bottom. Next thing I was going to do is I was going to go downstairs and get some apricorns to make the lids, because those mechanical anvils can actually make the lids really easily. That's just me reorganizing because I needed to keep a normal Pokemon or pixelmon anvil for making the plates out. But the rest of the mechanical anvils can quickly make all the Pokemon lids I'll need. Okay, next thing I did was I showed that I had made iron, the iron bases for the Pokeballs, and chucked them through there, the mechanical anvil off screen while I was doing some of the hammering. I did end up stopping because I realized I could use the watch for a long time. So next thing I did was I chucked those in there, grabbed my band, and just got 2 stacks of each of the apricots. Just so I could have enough Pokeballs. After getting enough, I grabbed the watch flowing time, placed it down in the center. I remembered what button was to charge it this time. After placing it, I was able to smelt everything because those need to be smelted first, and then you craft them into the flattened lids. Then after they're done into the flattened lids, you smash them against the anvil. But no, yeah, that's not sped up. That's the natural speed of the watch flowing time. And this is only on I think 100 increased ticks when it can go to like 250. Okay, after those were all smelted, I crafted up the lids. Just making sure I had enough of everything. Because all of the recipes use black apricorns, I was just spreading the black apricorns between all of them. That was a thing that kept happening for some reason. It would take the apricorns out of one pile and move it into all of them, so it took me a second to get all the apricorns. Turns out I needed to do it from the same direction. Which I don't know why, but it's a thing. Yeah, you see it just didn't like it from that direction. Because the Ultra Balls needed the blacks on the outside, and the Night Balls needed, Dusk Balls needed it in the center. I just popped out the center, created all the ones I could, placed it back in the center, and pasted the green on each side. Easiest way to do it. Okay, next I chucked him in the chest, without realizing I had more apricorns in the chest that I was just going to smelt down and make a couple more lids out of. Because the more Pokeballs I have, the better. And as you can see, this isn't sped up, but the second later I go back to the anvil, or the furnace, it's all finished. I chuck all the extras that are not needed, because I got enough Dusk Ball lids, I only want to make Ultra Ball lids now. Okay, with over a stack, finally, of Ultra Ball lids, I decided to chuck all the rest of the items in there, and then use the mechanical anvil. And this is also not sped up. You can see the speed of the mechanical anvil. Though I've had to decrease the volume more than, like, it's only like an eighth of the volume. It was so loud. Probably because they're not meant to go that fast. But you can actually see the animation, which I like, of it going around. Next I placed the Dust Balls in there because I only wanted Ultra Balls, and I grabbed the base. Next step was simple, I just needed stone, and make a stone button, because stone buttons is the center. Though, with Project E, it was a lot easier, because usually you just have to smelt just a bunch of stone. I turned that off because I just don't want it running and increasing the tick speed of everything around me. Next thing I made was... yes, I forgot, I was back to crafting the PC. I forgot that that's what that whole exercise was for. Got sidetracked a bit. So after creating the redstone lamp, which was probably the only thing I needed, grabbed the aluminum plates, and had to make glass panes. Something weird about it, though. The glass panes that I made, they didn't have an EMC rating, and I don't know why. So I just had to chuck them in the chest. But no, yeah, there it is. I made the PC, so we're able to store all our Pokemons now. And you could see, I didn't realize at the time, but when I created the PC, it gave me the Porygon piece. Next thing I made was the medbay station, so I could heal my Pokemon. And it's a lot more simple, it's just iron and diamonds. Though with the medbay station, it can't be picked up after place down, even with Silk Touch. It'll only drop a singular aluminum plate. Okay, after that, I was trying to figure out what I should make next, but I attempted to make a trade station when I saw that Spectria, a legendary, had spawned. So I took a look around, finally found it, and was planning to just throw random Pokeballs at it. There's a really low chance of it catching, but there is a chance. Yeah, that first attempt just failed miserably. It ended up despawning. Spectrier. But no, yeah, it was a cool looking legendary. But no, after getting back to my base and just setting up to start recording again and telling you guys that I missed it, I just look in chat and I don't know what the chances are, but another one spawned for some reason. So I made Dark Balls this time because it was nighttime that it was spawning, and they have a higher chance at night. But no, I took another look around to see if I could find the second one, which was I'm still amazed that it spawned. But no, yeah, there it was. So after then, I just started throwing random dust balls at it, hoping that I'd catch it. I ended up using over a stack of dust balls, and when it turned day, like 5 to 10 Ultra Balls, but that didn't work, so I just returned to base. I was gonna make some more Pokeballs offline. But no, yeah, next I tried making the trade station. And the top was really easy, it was just glass pane, aluminum plates. Everything we worked with before. Yeah, though the issue came when I tried making the wings because they required Pokeballs, and I skipped straight to Ultra Balls, so I didn't have any. So offline, I'm gonna have to go grab some red apricorns, or just a single one, and then plant it. So I tried making the infuser, which was simple, just a charcoal, 2 glass bottles, an amethyst, and some plates. Though one thing I did find out though, I had to make some bottles because I didn't have any, but I turned out I didn't end up putting my charcoal in my EMC table, so I had to just quickly smelt down another piece of charcoal with with a single piece of wood in my furnace. Tried activating it, then I found out you had to activate it with a bare hand. Loud every time. Okay, with the charcoal now, I just needed a furnace. And this later, once I get a Chesto Berry, will be used to turn my Dusk Balls into Dream Balls. And I like using like hypnosis and that, and it gets more effective than just using straight Dusk Balls. And it can be at any time of the day as long as I put the enemy to sleep. Though looking through my berry chest, which I'll look through in a second, Chesto Berries was probably the only berry I didn't have, which was really unlucky. So I was gonna have to look for that more offline. After that, just chucked everything away, put the Porygon pieces and the berries, and started hatching these extra Pokemon eggs. I'm just going to spam through all of them, and they'll get sent all to my PC, so it'll be simple. And with the mod on, the next egg gets placed in my hand, so I was able to spam it. I honestly do hate that symbol though that goes in your screen when Pokemon's hatching. That's why I made the choice to stop holding Pokemon eggs while actually doing an episode. Because offline I can just ignore it. Though the pink eggs I was gonna open slowly and take a look at each one. But for now I'm just gonna scope over all the eggs that came out of that. A lot of good ones. We got Geodude, Rattata, we got a Bulbasaur, Clefairy, some Squirtles, actually quite a few. Starmie, a Porygon. I was actually pretty excited about that one because Porygon, pretty good. Oh, not that. He's more of everyone's miniature favorite. So I decided to grab him and place him in an empty box. Though the eggs were going to keep filling up, so I decided to put him in the last box. Psyduck in there I use pretty often. The next page, though, we got a Diglett, a Farfetch'd, which is funny, a Rhyhorn, another Porygon, which was also pretty good. And then in there I saw a Snorlax, so I decided to put that with it. You can never go wrong with Snorlax. In there, I also saw the Scyther. I put it aside just in case I needed something to help tame with getting Pokemon down to 1 HP with False Swipe. There was a Dratini, which was pretty good. There was a Kabuto in there. And I put that aside because in the future we'll deal with it more, but I love fossils a lot. They're my favorite type of Pokemon. So later in the thing, we're going to go and get some from the bottom of the ocean, which will be fun. Just looking through the last ones, got a few Mr. Mimes, a few Onyxes. Next page, we had another Snorlax. And there was me deciding whether I should just chuck it over or just keep it there. I decided to put it over anyway. That just accidentally threw my Scyther away. It was at this moment I realized that there was some Pokemon at the bottom bar. And it was another Porygon, which was interestingly enough. So I managed to get 3 Porygon out of that. As well as a Psyduck, Tangler, and a Tauros. Next I decided to open my final pink eggs. I thought these are special because they're the best ones I got. Crustle, never heard of him before. The next one was Girafarig. I've seen that one, don't know its name. Starmie, classic. Tauros. Next we got a Mantine. Just gotta chuck all these away, and then we open the last 2. We got a Lapras, and finally we got an Execute. And after putting these away, I emptied my inventory, and that's where we ended the episode. Hey, thanks for watching. Sorry about missing audio. I'll watch out for it next time. But no, yeah. We did a pretty good job. Saw a few legendaries, which is nice. You often can't find them, but since I was the only one on, I was good. And anyway, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I reply to all of them, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.